Hello, if you've heard about Lomography Purple before but never understood why you would shoot something that promises a purple tint over all your photos, well, this is the video for you. We're going to be talking all about its origin story, what you can create with it, and why you would choose to shoot Lomography Purple. Quick one before we get started, if you like film photography and want to see more videos like this one, film reviews, tips and tricks, that kind of thing, then please do make sure you're subscribed to our channel and notifications are turned on. Thank you so much. Lomography Purple is one of Lomography's LomoChrome range, similar to Metropolis that we've seen in the Wonderbox before. That means that it has a different look to straight colour negative film, in this case a very purple tint. Now, it was launched in 2013, and when it was launched, it was talked about as a tribute, as a homage to colour infrared film. Now, this isn't colour infrared film. That was sensitive to certain parts of the spectrum that normal light isn't, required a hugely different set of chemical development, was very expensive, and unfortunately is no longer produced. So something like Kodak Aerochrome. And if you look online for Kodak Aerochrome photos, you can see it is incredibly striking, absolutely gorgeous results. And definitely in certain situations, in certain lighting and with different subjects, this film replicates some of those looks absolutely beautifully. What you will see is that blues become like green, greens become like purple, so you get this colour shift. But you shoot it as normal, you expose it as normal, and you can develop it in normal C421 chemicals as normal, which makes it much more accessible, much easier to use than colour infrared ever was. Now, since its inception in 2013, it has moved away from that niche of looking a bit like colour infrared to occupy its own space in any photographer's creative toolkit. Its formulation was refreshed in 2019 that made the colours more consistent and reliable roll to roll, which was hugely welcomed. It's available in 110, it's available in 120, and it's available in the simple use film camera as well. So there are lots of different ways for you to get your purple fix. Now, similar to Metropolis, this film has a rating of ISO 100 to ISO 400. Which means you can shoot it at different camera settings, still develop it as normal, and get slightly different results. Now, more light hitting this film will give you a stronger colour shift, stronger response. Dialing it down will provide a slightly more muted, slightly more shadowy, murky look, which is very, very different. I spoke to Lomography about what they would say to somebody who is about to shoot their first film, which for Wonderbox subscribers could well be you. And they said, while it can be shot 100 to 400 and you get different colours across the range, probably start off at ISO 200. That is the sweet spot for getting some beautiful colour shifts, getting some fantastic images without the impact of those shifts totally distorting the image. So start at ISO 200. Now, what will look really beautiful is going to be seeing those shifts of green to purple. So they recommend heading out to a park, heading out to a forest, or if you're in the city, just finding some shrubs, some hedges, and shooting some of that to understand what it looks like. They also recommend shooting a total mix of subject and content on your first roll, because the way that you shoot this film and the photography that you enjoy will respond differently to other people. Portraits can look very good, very interesting. One of the fun things to do is to place a portrait subject, somebody in front of, say, a hedge or a shrub or with grass, in front of then a building or some architecture. That way you can see the effect on skin tones, on greens, and then on man-made structures, all in one frame. But the main advice they had was when you shoot this film, take notes as you go through what you're shooting, what the settings are, what effective ISO it's being exposed at. Because when you get the roll back, you will then be able to look down and review and see what really worked for you and what didn't, because this is so subjective. Now, I know this might be a bit disappointing if you're hoping for it to be a quick load it up, shoot it, send it off and away you go, and of course there is nothing wrong with that. This will give you some fantastic images, something that is very, very different to normal, I promise you that. But I also promise that if you do put the effort in to make notes of what you're shooting, what the lighting was like, what the settings were on your camera, at least the first roll, and then review it when it comes back from the lab or from when it comes out of your developing tank, it will pay in dividends. Because when I look at the reviews on our site, what you consistently see is people saying, I love the first roll, there are a couple of images I really liked, but now after 2 or 3 I'm really getting the hang of it and the images are becoming really, really special. So this is a film that will grow on you, that you will come to learn and love over time. Similar to the double film bubblegum we talked about last year, you will have to be careful when scanning. So either at the lab or at home, one of the challenges with something like Lomo Purple is that any blunt color correction software might try and force the color shift back out of the image, which will leave it very washed out, looking very artificial and nothing like the sample images, the beautiful sample images that you've seen across this video. So if you're scanning at home, then use color profile settings or inversion settings that are similar to Ektar or Portra or Kodak Gold, something that is more of a straight film in terms of how they render the colours, then you will see the shifts that you're expecting. Similarly, if you're putting them in with a lab, make sure they know what to expect, make sure they don't get surprised when they turn the scanner on, and again try and force the purple out, because that will really ruin it and leave you feeling very underwhelmed. The grain and sharpness on this film are not as strong as, say, Portra 400 that we were shooting before. That's not what this film is about. If you're coming for colour accuracy, for sharpness, for minimal grain, then please don't go for purple, go for something like Portra or Ektar or Ektachrome or anything like that. Of course, it is available on 120, so if you are worried about it looking too grainy, then shooting on a larger format will help mitigate some of those concerns. If you're a Wonderbox subscriber, then please let me know what you're thinking of shooting based upon this. If you've shot it before, please let me know what you liked. Do you agree? Do you not with everything that we've said so far? For me personally, I think one of the things that I saw in the reviews was that people enjoyed, and this is particularly relevant now in the middle of the 3rd lockdown in the UK, people enjoyed taking this film in a camera that they already know to places that they've shot to death. Maybe that's the nearby park, maybe that's the people they're in lockdown with, maybe that is the one walk that is within their house or close to their house that they can do. Either way, bringing a roll of Lomo Purple and thinking through the lens of what will look good on purple has forced them to approach that subject that is very familiar to them with new eyes and get very new, fresh looking images from it. On that note, I'm very lucky to live near a country walk that goes past a farm, so I think I will be taking my Lomo Purple out and shooting some farm shots. There's some brilliantly dramatic buildings in front of some fields. Hopefully some cows and horses will come and investigate, which will allow me to get some animal skin tones against a green, now purple background, things like that. I think I'm going to have a lot of fun with that. The other thing that comes out quite consistently is that this film does enjoy the light. So sunny days are likely to be better than cloudy or murky, although as I've said, what you do get on those murky days are slightly more grungy, slightly more dark and forbidding photos. So if that floats your boat, then embrace that as well. Wait for the clouds, wait for the overcast, and really enjoy it. That's it for me this week. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, please do follow, subscribe. If you shot this film, comment, let us know what you think. Otherwise, what you're going to enjoy shooting with it. Thank you so much. I'll be back next week.